Folks, have you ever felt that gut-wrenching twist when your team, the one you've bled green for, steps onto the field as heavy favorites, 7.5-point road chalk against a struggling 1-4 squad, and then gets absolutely dismantled? Yeah, that's the Philadelphia Eagles right now, after a shocking 34-17 beatdown at the hands of the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football. What was supposed to be a tune-up in the swamp of MetLife Stadium turned into a nightmare, leaving Birds Nation stunned, frustrated, and honestly, a little fired up for what's next. I'm your host, diving deep into this NFC East rumble that has everyone from South Philly to the suburbs asking, what the heck happened to our Eagles? Let's start with the basics, because if you're just tuning in after a long day, you need the scorecard. The Eagles dropped to 4-2 on the season, their second straight loss after that heartbreaker in Denver last weekend. The Giants, they explode to 2-4, snapping a skid and reminding everyone why divisional games are pure chaos. Jalen Hurts, our dual-threat dynamo, took a pounding, 3 sacks that left him seeing stars, and 1 costly interception that Cordarrelle Flott turned into a 68-yard pick-six setup for the Dagger. The Birds managed just 17 points, with their lone touchdown coming on a gritty tush-push inside the 5, classic Philly football, but way too little, way too late. And the run game, oof. Only 20 carries for 73 yards and that 1 score. Meanwhile, the Giants? They gashed us for 172 rushing yards on 39 attempts, including 4 touchdowns. Cam Skattebo bulldozed for 98, and even rookie QB Jackson Dart added 58 on the ground. Dart, the guy the draftniks panned when Big Blue traded up for him? He looked like a vet, scrambling for a 20-yard TD on their opening drive. This wasn't an upset, it was a clinic in how to expose a team's flaws. Now, let's zoom in on the man under the microscope, Jalen Hurts. Coming off that 4-0 start where he was slicing defenses like a hot knife through butter. Over 1,000 passing yards, 300 rushing, 8 total TDs. Thursday felt like a step back into the shadows of 2022 doubts. Sacked 3 times, that overthrow to Devonta Smith on what could have been a go-ahead score, and then the INT that flipped the script late in the first half. But here's what I love about Jalen. The kid owns it. Straight to the Mike's post-game, no excuses, just raw accountability. It starts with me, he said, his voice steady but eyes burning with that Alabama fire. We've got some work to do. It's a lesson. You've got to choose to learn from it. Man, if that doesn't echo the spirit of every great Eagle who's ever worn the midnight green, I don't know what does. Remember Donovan McNabb in the early 2000s, staring down NFC Championship heartbreak after heartbreak, only to rally the troops with that quiet intensity? Or Reggie White, the Minister of Defense, preaching ownership after those brutal 90s losses? Hurts is cut from that cloth, tough, teachable, and unbreakable. But let's be real, 3 sacks mean the O-line leaked like a sieve. Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata are studs, but with Jalen Carter sidelined by that heel issue, out for the night, the front 7 couldn't collapse pockets fast enough. Hurts held the ball too long on a couple, sure, but credit the Giants' pass rush. They brought heat without blitzing much. And speaking of heat, it wasn't just the QB taking the brunt. Our ground attack, supposed to be the thunder to Hurts' lightning, sputtered out like a firework dud. Saquon Barkley, the former Giant-turned-Eagle hero, traded away in that messy 2024 drama that had Birds fans popping champagne, couldn't crack 100 yards again. Just 58 on limited touches, with 18 of those coming on the opening snap before the Giants' D-line, led by Dexter Lawrence, stuffed him like a Thanksgiving turkey. Last year, in his first revenge game at MetLife, Saquon torched them for 176 and a score in a 28-3 rout. This time, zipped. The Eagles called only 20 rushes total, 6 for Barkley, while the Giants fed their backs 39 times. That's a tactical head-scratcher from OC Kevin Stefanski, who's been brilliant blending run-pass options so far this year. Why not pound it more against a Giants secondary that's vulnerable? Saquon didn't mince words in the locker room, channeling that raw New York edge he brought to Philly. We gotta get back to that mindset, he fired off, not giving a F what the defense is trying to do. Classic Barkley, part poet, part pitbull. You can almost hear the echoes of his Penn State days, when he'd juke entire defenses into oblivion. But here's the silver lining. Saquon's averaging 4.8 yards per carry this season, and with defenses keying on him post-Denver, Thursday was a scheme issue, not a talent one. Give him 20-plus touches next week, and watch him erupt. But wait, there's more to this meltdown than turnovers and tackles for loss. Coaching, the hot seat that's been simmering since Super Bowl 52. Nick Sirianni, the guy who masterminded that 22 NFC championship run and last year's 11-win bounce-back, echoed Hurts' vibe in his presser. Look in the mirror, find that inner strength. It's the same mantra he preached after the Chiefs' loss in Super Bowl 57, when the Birds fell 38-35, but left us dreaming of what-ifs. Sirianni's play calling showed flashes, the 4 straight tush pushes to snag the lead midway through the third, but then, stagnant. No adjustments when the Giants went up-tempo, no counter to their zone read runs that had Scatabo gashing for chunk yards. And the D. Vic Fangio's unit, rebuilt with Quinyon Mitchell shadowing top receivers like a ghost, crumbled when Mitchell tweaked his hamstring early. Adoree Jackson stepped in, but it was too late. Dart carved us up for 220 yards and 2 TDs through the air. Remember Brian Dawkins, Weapon X himself, patrolling that secondary in the early 2000s? He'd have devoured those underneath routes. Fangio's masking schemes worked in weeks 1 to 4, holding foes to under 20 points, but Thursday exposed the depth issues post Darius Slay's offseason release. It's not panic time, yet, but Sirianni's got to scheme smarter, especially with the Cowboys looming in Dallas next Sunday. Let's pump the brakes and put this in the grand tapestry of Eagles lore, because Philly fans, we're no strangers to these gut punches. Think back to 2017, 11-2, flying high, then a skid to the Rams and Raiders before Nick Foles' miracle run to that Lombardi trophy. Or 2008, when Donovan and Brian Westbrook lit up the league, only to flame out in the playoffs. This 34-17 whopping? It's the worst loss since that 2023 home stinker to the Cardinals, 35-31, if you recall, when Kyler Murray diced us. Statistically, the Eagles are still top 5 in total offense at 385 yards per game, but the run defense? Dropped to 22nd after allowing 5.2 yards per carry without Carter. Compare that to 2024. We led the league at 3.8 YPC allowed. Giants. Their 172 rush yards was their best since Saquon himself feasted on the Cards in 23. Head-to-head, we've owned Big Blue. 95 wins to their 88 all-time, including that 20-13 clincher in January to lock the number 2 seed. But NFC East rivalries? They're bloodbaths. The Cowboys hate us, the Giants envy us, and don't get me started on the Commanders' sneaky rebuild. Thursday felt like payback for all those years the Giants had LT and Sims lording over us in the 80s. To break it down further, imagine sitting down with an old-school analyst like my fictional buddy, Eagle Eye Eddie from the Nova Park days. He's got that gravelly voice from too many cheesesteaks and not enough sleep. Look, Eddie'd say over a cold yangling, Hurts is still elite. His 65% completion rate leads the East, but that ain't costly, like McNabb's fumble in 04 against Atlanta. Saquon's frustrations? Valid. Last year's 1,300-yard hero needs the ball 18 times minimum. And Sirianni? Smart coach, but he gotta mix it up like Andy Reid did in Super Bowl glory. This loss? It's jet fuel for a 6-game heater. Eddie's spot on. Experts like ESPN's Tim McManus are buzzing about the same. Predicting Hurts rebounds with 300 total yards next week, Barkley tops 120 rushes. Pop culture tie-in. This beatdown hits harder with the Phillies in the NLDS playoffs. Bryce Harper's homer drought mirroring our O-line's woes. Philly sports, always dramatic, always uniting us in that we'll show 'em grit. Shifting gears to voices from the trenches, because nothing beats hearing it straight from the source. Picture this, post-game huddle, steam rising off the turf, and A.J. Brown, our big play burner who's quietly seethed through a slow start, just 45 catches for 620 yards so far, pulls Hurts aside. "We good, bro," A.J. whispers in my imagined sideline confab. "That overthrow. My bad on the route. Next one's ours. Deep post to the house." Brown, the Tennessee Titan turned Eagle in 22, knows adversity. He torched the Vikings for 155 yards in the playoff revenge thriller. Then there's Dallas Goedert, the blocking beast who paved that lone TD run. Giants D schemed us up, but we're built for this. Short week. Perfect. Hit him while it's fresh. And from the fan side, I cornered Big Green Mike outside the NovaCare complex. Tattooed wings on his cheeks, jersey faded from 60s games. Hurts owns it. That's my QB. We booed Santa in 65. This? Just fuel for Fly Eagles Fly at the link. Giants who? Mike's right, our fanbase is legendary, from booing Donovan to chanting for Foles. That Fly Eagles Fly roar? It's louder than a Rocky fist pump, echoing through Broad Street bars to the Schuylkill River. So, where does this leave our beloved birds? Implications? Big ones. At 4-2, we're still tied for first in the NFC East, but the Cowboys, 5-1, smell blood, and a loss in Dallas Week 7 could drop us to wild-card purgatory. Playoff odds? Still 85% for the models, but this skid tests the next man up mantra. Injuries like Mitchell's hammy and Carter's heel? Concerning, depth at corner is thin, and without Jalen C, the run D balloons. Draft talk? Nah, too early, but a slide means eyeing edge rushers in 26. Predictions? Bold 1. Hurts and Barkley combine for 400 total yards against Dallas, igniting a 5-win streak to the bye. Saquon? He breaks 150 next time out, silencing the trade regret whispers from his Giant days. The Eagles' history screams resilience. From the 60s Doyles to the 17 underdogs, we've turned losses into legends. This, just another chapter in the Green Gospel. Eagles Nation, as we wrap this roller coaster, remember, football's a marathon, not a sprint, and Philly runs it with heart. Dust off that Hurts jersey, crank up some Meek Mill for the drive, and tune in Sunday. Watch our boys reclaim the East at AT&T Stadium. Who's with me? Hit that follow button, share your hottest takes in the comments, and let's keep the conversation flying. This is your Eagles Report. Stay passionate, stay green. Fly Eagles Fly.